Okay, good morning. My intention for this reading is to discuss the Canadian upcoming elections and show you comparative information between all four candidates. And I'm using a pendulum. The pendulum moves on its own. I'll move my finger over so you can see this is how I hold the pendulum. It's sitting with my thumb, and I can ask the pendulum to show me a yes and a no, and can you show me a no more words, and can you show me a maybe, okay. So the pendulum goes up and down, yes or no, or yes is top to bottom, side to side is no. Takes a little while for it to get there from the position it may have been in, but when it starts going there, you know that's what it's going to. So there's the no, and then a no more words is a counterclockwise circle. And a maybe is a clockwise circle. There we go. So I don't move the pendulum. The pendulum moves based on the answer that the energy tells it. I have 4 spirit guides that are guiding the answers. I use ChatGPT to create general questions to outline what each candidate's priorities, values, and strategies regarding the ongoing trade war with the United States and efforts to diversify Canada's trade and security partnerships and their overall vision for the country's future. So each candidate, I have 4 questions. Well, I have 16 questions, so there's 4 questions for each. Each are going to be different, but they will show you one of those things as how you can understand the party or the leader of that party and how they plan to handle that particular situation. So starting with the first question, is Prime Minister Mark Carney's plan to impose 25% tariffs and non-USMC compliant US vehicles primarily a political move rather than economic necessity? Yes, so it's a political move. It's aiming to protect Canadian interests. Okay. Does Pierre Poilievre's proposal to eliminate federal taxes on car purchase favor large automotive corporations over Canadian consumers? The answer is yes. So he's suggesting removing federal taxes on car purchase as a countermeasure to U.S. tariffs. Oh, where'd it go? Hold on. Lost my page. What the heck? Sorry. Okay. So Jagmeet Singh, NDP party. Will Jagmeet Singh's proposal of tax-free victory bonds effectively bolster the Canadian economy against U.S. tariffs? And that's a maybe. Francois Blanchon from Quebec is Blanchet's call for Quebec representation in the U.S. tariff negotiations likely to enhance the province's influence in trade matters? Yes. Back to Mark Carney. Will Carney's strategy to strengthen trade alliances with Mexico and Europe effectively reduce Canada's economic reliance on the U.S.? The answer is yes. Carney emphasized building equitable trade alliances with countries like Mexico and Europe. Would Poilivier's focus on increasing energy exports to the U.S. deepen Canada's economic dependence on a volatile partner? Yes. Poilivier has advocated for boosting energy exports to the U.S. as a means to strengthen the economic ties. Yeah, no, that's not a good idea. We need to escape the all eggs in one basket. Jagmeet Singh. Does Singh's plan to reform employment insurance provide adequate for support for workers affected by the trade dispute? Yes. Singh announced proposals aimed at protecting workers impacted by tariffs. I believe they got rid of the 1 week waiting period for unemployment insurance. Blanchet. Is Blanchet's preference for surgically chosen counter tariffs a viable strategy to protecting Canada's fragile economy? The answer, yes. Blanchet proposed targeted counter tariffs to mitigate economic harm. You probably would think that would be a second phase of further tariffs. Because what Trump has said is any countermeasures or any counter-retaliatory tariffs would result in a additional tariff. So we'll see how that goes. Mark Carney. Is the Canadian $2 billion Strategic Response Fund established by Carney sufficient to support Canadian workers affected by the U.S. tariffs? No. Carney introduced this fund to assist workers impacted by the trade dispute. So it's a start, I guess. Did you say no? I didn't even see. Let's go back to that question. Reading the question in the context versus watching the pendulum. That's what we call a reading. So is the $2 billion Canadian dollars a strategic response fund established by Carney sufficient to support Canadian workers affected by the U.S. tariffs? No, you're saying yes. Oh, no, you're not. No. Okay. Some more will be required. Which I expect that our debt will be increased due to these trade wars. And not because we started it. Pierre Poilievre. Does Poilivier's plan to renegotiate trade terms with the U.S. risk escalating tensions rather than resolving them? Yes. Olivier has vowed to renegotiate trade terms in response to the tariffs, although Trump has stated that there is no negotiation. Jagmeet Singh Will Singh's emphasis on infrastructure spending help Canada become less dependent on U.S. trade? Yes. Singh pitched infrastructure investments as part of his tariff response plan. I guess it's a good thing. However, it depends on the amount of money that is being lost on with the tariffs. What we're gaining, what we're losing. Blanchett. Does Blanchett's criticism of Carney lack of communication indicate a potential rift in forming a unified trade strategy? Yes. Blanchett expressed dissatisfaction with Carney's communication regarding trade negotiations. In everything I've seen, I haven't seen Blanchett say anything. I've seen Jagmeet Singh, I've seen Olivier, and I've seen Carney, but I don't think I've seen Blanchett on the news or anything. So whose communication's got the problem? Is it because Blanchett doesn't know anything? He's not included? Yes. So Carney should be including him. Okay. Makes sense. Will Carney's decision to exclude auto parts from tariffs undermine the effectiveness of Canada's retaliatory measures? Yes. Carney chose not to apply tariffs to auto parts to minimize harm to the auto industry. And they go hand in hand, Carney. No point building parts if you're not making cars. So that's, I don't think that plan will work, in my opinion. Pierre Poilievre. Is Poilievre's Canada First approach likely to alienate potential international trade partners? Yes. Canada First, America First sounds very focused. I think that terminology will scare any other country away because it's too much like Trump. Oh, sorry. Does Jagmeet Singh focus on affordability measures? Hold on. Does Singh's focus on affordability measures address the immediate economic concerns arising from the trade war? Yes. Singh proposed measures aimed at protecting workers and middle-class Canadians impacted. So that's probably the EI and the business assistance that they've stated. Blanchett's advocacy for Quebec's distinct interests complicate Canada's unified response to U.S. tariffs? Yes, because his interests, the distinct interests of Quebec's, are not specific to the trade war. It's countrywide. It's not Quebec only. Blanchett kind of acts like a premier versus like I can understand you're focusing on your country, but you don't see Mark Carney focusing only on Alberta. You don't see Jagmeet Singh focusing only, I think he's from Vancouver. And I believe Poilievre is from Quebec. Maybe I could be wrong. But this is a Canada approach, not a province approach. Um, so out of the 4 candidates, on a scale of 1 to 10, and this is where I ask the pendulum to give me a rating on each of the 4 candidates, 1 being the least best for Canada and 10 being the best for Canada. So can you tell me, using the numbers 1 through 10, where does Mark Carney stand? And 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest in terms of their ability to get Canada through the trade war with the least impact to Canadians, provinces, and build on a future. So as a grouping and the current needs of a prime minister at this moment. So a score between 1 and 10, 1 being lowest, 10 being highest. Let's start with Mark Carney. Can you point to the number? Oh, you're waiting to stop. Big swing so I can see the exact number you're pointing to. You're pointing to 10. Can you confirm with a yes or no? Can you confirm with a yes or no you are pointing to the number 10? Yes. Okay, so that was Mark Carney. Pierre Poilievre, same thing, 1 through 10. Where does he land in terms of getting Canada through this trade war and preparing for the future with less reliance on the U.S.? Are you giving him a score of 10 too? All right. Can you confirm you're pointing to 10 for Pierre Poilievre? You're saying no. Okay. Do you want to try that again? Which number between 1 and 10 would you score Pierre Poilievre, 1 being lowest, 10 being highest? Okay, you're pointing to 8. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Francois Blanchette. Same thing. 1 being lowest, 10 being highest and best. Big swing so I can see the number you're pointing to. Are you pointing to 4? Nope, you're moving again. Changed your mind? Are you giving Francois Blanchette a score of 7? Yes. And Jagmeet Singh, same thing. 1 lowest, 10's highest, best in terms of running the country during a trade war and dealing with the alliances and security. Are you pointing to 8 for Jagmeet Singh? Can you confirm? Oops. Looked away and messed you up. Can you confirm that you're pointing to 8? Yes. Okay. So, just to confirm, you said Mark Carney first, then Jagmeet Singh and Pierre-Paul Olivier are second, and Francois Blanchette would be third. Yes. So, as my spirit team, you believe that Mark Carney is the best at this time during this particular political game of trade wars and financial issues and reestablishing new alliances, that Mark Carney would be the best choice for the Prime Minister of Canada. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing your answers. Big hugs to you. Big hugs to Canada. Thank you very much.